The newest Texas Chainsaw Massacre was just released. Is it worthy enough to be the direct sequel of the original? Well, let's talk about it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is directed by David Blue Garcia and is available on Netflix. And as always, slight spoilers, but not the ending. So this movie is a direct sequel to the original film. Now, so I have to forget all about the sequels that we've seen in the past and remakes, all that crap, because just like Halloween, they don't count. Anyways, this takes place about 50 years after the original one, and Sally Hardesty, the original girl who survived, has been searching for Leatherface for years now. Only problem is, she doesn't know how he looks because he was wearing someone else's face. But she's waiting and ready to whoop that ass whenever the chance arrives. Then you have a group of friends who've acquired land in the small town of Harlow, Texas. They bought the area to be a safer place for people to live, to build apartments, stores, etc. And also have possible investors coming through to sell them on the idea of the place. And once they arrive to scope out this newly acquired town, and they see this orphanage, and there's a woman who's still living inside of it, as well as a tall, dark figure who later turns out to be Leatherface. After the events from the first movie, this is where he stayed. And according to the pictures in the home, he was an orphan and stayed there as a kid, so in a way, he went back home to seek refuge. And to top it off, nobody knows he's a killer from back in the day. So anyhow, the new tenants told her that she needs to leave, but this lady claims that she still has a valid deed, and this is her home. So, anyhow, the cops eventually come through and escort her and Leatherface out. And at this point, he's not killing anyone because the old lady kind of keeps him chilled, though. She keeps him calm. So, it's all good at this point, though. And also something I have to add about this lady, though. She's in very bad health and carries around an oxygen tank. So, as they're in the cop wagon, she dies. Leatherface tries to revive her. Nope, nothing. She's dead. It's a wrap. Leatherface loses it. Goes ham on these cops. Violent nastiness, dude, I'm telling you. Then meanwhile, you have a bus full of people who just arrived town to check out the new spot. So you already know, man. You can imagine hell eventually breaks loose when he gets back to the town and serves plenty cups of soy on their asses. Eventually word gets to Sally Hardesty about the incidents occurring in Harlow. She packs her shit and heads to the town to finally meet with the man who killed her friends and nearly her. This battle is 50 years in the making. Who wins, man? Who are you rooting for? It's chainsaw versus shotgun. Anyhow, overall this movie, it was okay, to be honest with you. I really didn't know what to expect with this one. But anyhow, let's start with the good stuff. I enjoyed the fact that it only took 19 minutes until Leatherface began working people, man. And yes, this movie is really, it's hella violent. Some awesome kills in this one, I gotta tell you though. So one example I'll give for sure. Leatherface breaks this dude's arm, the bones pop out, and makes the dude stab himself in his own throat to his death. And if you watch the trailer, that bus scene with Leatherface killing everyone, it's pretty brutal too, man. It reminds me of the club scene from Hellraiser 3, if anybody's seen that, where everyone is trapped in the club, getting killed one by one, the blood starts flowing under the door, and as you hear the screams and whatnot. I like that. The storyline in general is pretty simplistic, which is actually good for this kind of movie. I like the fact they brought back that character Sally Hardesty, who's been waiting and training for years to get back at this monster. The fact that Leatherface has been hiding and quiet for this long actually made sense as well, especially if you're not going to worry about the other sequels, right? And this woman at the orphanage who seemed to have been like a mother figure for him and kept his anger in control for this whole time, turning him into a Zen meditation master, if you will. Just kidding. Anyhow, but where this movie falls off for me is the new characters that are introduced. Very uninteresting and generic type of characters. At first I thought this was on purpose, but then we learn a bit of a background on one of the characters where they had a traumatic experience some time back and it's still affecting her. And this plays into the story, of course. And they put much of the focus on this girl for a good chunk of the movie. I personally would have rather seen more of Sally's backstory and what she had to endure through all the years before the showdown. You know, more insight on what she's been up to. I feel they dropped the ball on that one. I wanted to see a badass montage of her working out like she's about to battle Drago, you know, like in Rocky 4, making it up to the top of the mountain screaming, Leatherface! Leatherface! Something that really bothered me about this also is the town itself looked and felt like a cheap movie set. It did not look or feel like a real town at all. Also, sometimes it felt like it was a made-for-TV kind of movie, and other times it felt like an actual movie. It's just the way it was shot and just the look of it. At first, I thought there was two different directors of photography, but according to the credits, there's only one guy, so anyhow. Another thing, too, I was very disappointed with this ending. Very disappointed. Highly, highly. I'm not going to give anything away, but if you're expecting an epic battle between Sally and Leatherface, it ain't going to happen. They do fight, though. I will say that. And that's all I'll say, but... So, do I think this is a worthy enough movie to be a direct sequel to the original? No. Because of everything I just mentioned, it's not the worst movie, or it's not even really horrible, but when you have to follow up an all-time classic horror flick, you gotta come with better than this, man. I mean, not saying not saying it has to be a classic flick, but you gotta kick some ass, though, dude. I mean, I'll say check it out anyways, though, but lower your expectations. But one thing you will definitely enjoy for sure, if you shut your brain off and just watch for the kills, oh, dude, it's a hell of a ride. That's for damn sure. Well, yeah, those are my 2 cents for all it's worth. And that's all for today, folks. Stay nasty, my friends. Be sure to slice that like button with a chainsaw. And subscribe, because on a Don't Split Up channel, hell has never been so cool. Shay Nasty out.
I'll see you soon.
Would you steal a car?
No.
Would you steal a computer?
No.
Would you steal a purse?
No.
Would you steal a TV?
No.
Have you subscribed to the Don't Split Up channel yet?
No.
Viewing without subscribing is a dick move.
Don't be a dick.
Subscribe. Click and subscribe. It's free.